waiting on O'Reilly's to bring me some parts, so I'm not gonna sit around and wait, find something to do, but this is what I'm up against. Obviously the bullet holes from a Chevy truck mount to 1989 Mitsubishi Starion isn't gonna work, so, but I'm thinking far back as I can get this motor to sit, we'll cut the ears off of this bracket and get it mounted up here in that frame rail. I just have to make sure, measure, should have more than enough clearance though from this motor mount sitting there and that harmonic balancer not hitting the front of the frame rail down there. So we're gonna chop up some more stuff to make new stuff. But hopefully I can get, I'm hoping by tonight I'm gonna have this engine holding in its own motor mounts so that I can start measuring where to start looking at a transmission tail housing brace underneath on the frame rails in that hole. So anyway, just wasting some time waiting on parts. I gotta say, I've used cut-off wheels, band saws, chop saws. You can't beat a plasma torch for how easy it is. To get rid of some metal. No sooner than I get the plasma cutter out, buzz my ears to start having fun, and it's without the extra ears on it. O'Reilly showed up, so back to the real grind. I'll have to come back and play later. As luck would have it, I don't have a bushing driver big enough for the wheel bearing, which means I've got to freeze them and then heat up the hub to press in the bearing races, which means I bought a little more time to play. So bearing races are in the freezer for another vehicle. But in the meantime, I can get this engine up out of here so I can get in this wheel or in this engine bay and start cleaning up and figuring out motor mounts. These on here. You know, if you say this looks like fun, it'd be something you want to try, I will tell you this: unless you like do something and take it apart, do it again, take it apart, and do that about 7 more times, probably not for you. The reason I say that is this engine has been in and out of this engine bay. This is probably the 7th or 8th time. Put it in there. Well, of course, that was when the whole firewall was there, just to kind of get an idea of height, width, of course tape measure. Tried, but before I cut, I wanted to see in real life. Pull the motor out, drop it down in there halfway, see what needs cut, put it back, pull it back out, try it again, cut some more, try it again, you know. So unless you like doing something just to do it about 7 times over again, I wouldn't suggest this as a project. While I had it out, I used the tape measure to check clearance, and there should be absolutely no issue with an oil pan on. But I figure we'll try it in the real world just to make sure. See how this fits. Not perfectly measured yet, but we did. Oh, it's close. I'll come in and double check measurement and all that. The back of the motor is a little high, but I already see a small problem. The steering linkage touches the oil pan there. So I was thinking about going to rack and pinion anyways, which I'll be able to, see what that might take, and always massage an oil pan or modify it, but it is sitting on an engine mount inside the car. Engine's pointed up a little bit. I've got a strap, so I'm gonna reposition so I can drop it down and get a laser and shoot my driveline angles. So we'll see what happens. When I said earlier that don't take on a project like this unless you want to do something 7 or 8 times, and then come to find out after 7 or 8 times, more times you gotta do it. The oil pan clearance issue with the rack and pinion, after a little bit of research, could probably be resolved, but I'm gonna go ahead and not chance it, so I may go ahead and extend this engine deeper into the cabin by a little bit. I'm already at the back of the cross member spot, but with fabrication or something we can take it back a little bit. I do know, and looking at what some of these other Starion V8 swap guys have run into, is cooling issues. There's not a lot of frontal area on these cars, and V8 takes a big radiator, so it's not going to hurt me going further back, because looking at pictures, a lot of those guys will have a slanted radiator with a fan on it, so that they can, by tilting it down, they get a lot more surface area. I went in the house though and just wanted to see the work I did today, what kind of progress, just to see. And if it was gonna sit there, this engine mount bolt head, dead nuts level on a laser, same as that one is over there. And then if I move this to the center line of the vehicle, get this shifted over, that's right on the center line. I've read that these motor mounts aren't completely equal, which in measuring from the frame rail to the bolt hole and this frame rail to that bolt hole, there was a slight difference. So this engine appears to sit a little bit left. So more measuring to do, and I'm also going to verify that against the top of the valley of the block to see if it's, I don't know. So expect a heartache and disappointment right when you think you're going to do it, but right when you think you got the best laid plan, it goes up in smoke. So we'll think about it and ponder. The yellow smoke the Starion goes up in.